Coming up on the pod this week, first half of the pod, I'm going to talk about just my week in comedy and my week in life. We can have both, right? Second half of the podcast, I want to basically do a breakdown of all my new tour dates, which are now, at this point, should be up, should be on sale. 13 new cities, and I'm going to give kind of a breakdown of the decisions behind which club, which date, and really just like the behind the scenes of how it all came together. And if you're like a real hardcore comedy fan, I think you're going to really enjoy that part. But first, I do want to mention all the tour dates that are pre this new announcement. In DC, for example, is this weekend at the Arlington Draft House for 4 shows, August 9th and 10th. Really excited for these shows, man. And again, if people are getting a little weary of the DC Virginia whole thing, I mapped it. It takes 15 minutes to get there from DC. It's very close. So hope to see you there. And then I will be in Chicago August 27th through the 29th for 3 shows at Zanies. Can't wait. It's a week with Willie B. And then San Diego at American Comedy Company September 6th to the 7th. Those are some big shows for me. Can't wait. And let's start the show right now. Go. Just like that, we're back with another episode, dude. Another sweaty, no AC having episode. Dude, my AC is still broken in the peak of summer. Well, it's not. Let me just give you an update on what's happened, basically. So my AC is, first of all, thanks for being here. Subscribe, right? While you're here. That'd be nice. Dude, I'm so out of it today. This is going to be one of those weird episodes where I'm like tired, don't really know what I'm going to talk about, but sometimes those are the best episodes, right? Hopefully. Say yes. Say yes. Thank you. Dude, AC broke. Left town, thankfully. Went to Texas. Ordered a new AC. It's going to get here about a day after I arrive. Perfect. No big deal. New AC arrives. My landlord and he helps me. The maintenance. We just have no maintenance in this building, apparently. It's like the maintenance just sucks. So we kind of have to do shit on our own at this point. It's, I don't know what to do about it, but I don't want to get into it. The point of the story, though, is we carried this big-ass AC unit up to my apartment, and we put it in the hole where the unit goes, and it's too big for the hole. Pause. What am I talking about right now? Could be sex ed, could be air conditioning. Unfortunately, it's air conditioning, and I say unfortunately because didn't work in the hole, so that means he has to order a new one. So now I'm left with this gigantic AC unit that if you turn it on, the reason you need it outside a little bit is so the hot air blows outside. And so without it being in the window, the hot air blows in here. So I have to effectively put it by the sliding glass door and open the door, close the screen, turn it on, hot air blows outside, technically, but really the hot air blows up and into my apartment. So basically I have the heat and the AC on at the same time, and it sucks. And I just had to vent about it because the new one should be coming today, and no one can help me install it until like the weekend. So I may give up everything and move to where do I want to move to? Where am I going? Probably Denver. I'll move to Denver. Denver's nice. I like Denver. So pissed, dude. But really, LA is has the best weather out of anywhere. Where should I move? I'm so frustrated right now, dude. Right now, I have this nice little fan blowing on me, so we're good. But I've had to basically be living at Kaylee's place, which again, if I was single, I'd be like melting like one of those anti-drug commercials, where they're melting into the couch. That would be me right now, melting into the couch, but not in a fun way involving drugs. It's too hot way, and it's early August. All right, that's my AC rant. Hopefully, you guys made it through that. Other than that, things have been great. I need a sip of coffee. I held it up the whole time. I didn't drink it. Yeah, just had to get that out there. It's been it's one of those moments where do you guys remember that in John Mulaney's first special where like having a girlfriend's so helpful because they can be like, hey, they shouldn't treat you like that, and then you go, yeah, they shouldn't treat me like that. That whole idea, it's such a funny bit, and that's exactly what's been happening with Kaylee, because like my building has been like, yeah, we can install it in fucking 4 days, and she's like, that's not okay, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's not okay. Dude, if I was single, I'd be fucked. Anyways, like I said, this is gonna be a weird episode. Dude, speaking of being single and stuff, I've been thinking about this a lot about like the timeline of my life and success. I'll be more specific. I want to have kids, right? With my lady, Miss Kaylee, but not for a little while, right? If I had my choice, I would do it late 30s, right? But again, lady has a timetable, so that's how science works. I'm no scientist, but I think there's some sort of timetable. I think it's called biological clock, right? And so, you guys know me. I'm working very hard right now, and I have this vision in my head of basically working so hard now before we have kids. So by the time that we have kids, I will be at a place in my career and such a successful point in my career that I can kind of, like, I have the power, meaning I can pick and choose where I go, when I go, because effectively the hope is that anywhere I go, I'll just sell out the venue, right? And so with that said, I just have this vision of kind of like putting in all this work for the next, let's say 4 or 5 years, really work my way up, grow to be a top guy. So then when we do have a family, I don't feel like I have to take every opportunity. I don't have to sacrifice all this time and energy to make money. Basically, I'm just at a point where I'm doing very well, and I don't want to miss out on that family time. And I say all this to say that like that informs decisions I make now, right? Because I'm taking on a ton of opportunities and a ton of travel, but now's the time to do it because I don't have like children to look after. We have our dog, but it's been 3 months now. He's a lot more situated. It sucks leaving Kaylee so much, but it'd be way harder if it was like also leave the baby. Like, again, now's the time in my life to just like pedal to the metal and grind and crush it, right? So that's the motivation for me recently, and things have been really good, man. I came back from Texas. I had a couple days off, and then I had like shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they were all really interesting, good shows. I've realized that I really need 2 sets in a night. One set a night's tough because if something doesn't go well, you can't recalibrate and adjust things and try it again. You kind of just got to sit with that. I don't want to say mistake, but that kind of it's like you feel unsettled, unfulfilled. Like you need 2 to really get a lot out of this. And like, for example, like Thursday, I did a show at HaHa at 8, and then I did the Hollywood Improv at 9:30. And HaHa went pretty well. It was like, okay, that was fine. I did fine. Again, objectively, great set. You guys know me. I was like, it was fine. I go to the Improv, and I'm on last. It's a great lineup. It's a good show. But by the time I'm up, dude, it was already like half full. And then by the time I went up last, dude, it was like, I want to say 20 people there, 25 people there. And it was Jamie Kennedy and then me. And it was like one of those sets where I was like, dude, this is a very bombable set, as I like to say. Like you could for sure bomb here. Or you could do well, but there's also this pressure of having it be at the Improv, and you don't know what comedians are going to watch. You don't know where the booker is. It's a tough spot. But me, I've worked so hard that I'm like, I've seen this shit before. I got it. But there's a part of me that's like, do I got it? We'll see what happens, right? I'm still not 100% comfortable on that stage because it still is a big deal to me, right? It still means something. So Jamie gets done. We cross paths. He's always been super nice, by the way. I don't know how much of you guys know Jamie Kennedy at this point. I knew him from Malibu's Most Wanted as a kid, and I opened for him like a couple of years ago, and he was so cool, and we had stayed in touch after, and he like crossed paths, and he was just like, oh, what's up, man? Yeah, like just super nice guy. Thing I didn't love, though, is that he was doing coughing bits into the mic, doing like, and that's not just him. People will do that where they do something gross to the mic. People put it in their mouth or some shit, and then you got to get it, and I'm like, guh. There's Clorox wipes, but I don't want to be the one guy who's like, sorry, 1 second, I just have to wipe the mic off. It's like too weird. So anyways, I was bummed about the coughing thing, but he was so nice. I was like, God damn it. Well, fuck. I got to take the L. And I went up, again, 20 people. People are, I want to say maybe 30 people at most. People are actively like putting on their purses and gather, like everyone's kind of ready to go. And then I got to go up and do 15 minutes. And I proceeded to have such a good set. It was awesome. It was one of those sets where it was very riffy, very improv-y, because it had to be, right? I didn't want to, there's 25 people there. I'm not going to pretend to be like, I'm doing a fucking Tonight Show set. It's like, no, let's be in this moment. Let's have fun with these people. And sure enough, it was like every decision I made was the correct decision. Every riff that I made was the correct riff. And it was just everything worked perfectly. And I got this whole crowd's a strong word, this section of humans sporadically in a space to not only pay attention, but be on board and laughing. And it was so fun. And I've said this before, it's like killing in that environment is way more satisfying than killing in a packed room, because that's way harder to do. That takes skill, that takes finesse. And I'm not up here saying I'm the best comedian ever, but I was so proud of how I acted in that moment. Anyone can go up and kill in a good room. Anyone can. Brand new comedians can do it. But that shit was like, you got to charm your way into it. You got to massage this moment. It is oh, wow, what a fucking thing to say. I got to massage this moment. Maybe I'll call the episode that, massage the moment. It was just really satisfying. And again, that was the second set of the night. And so I got to leave that one being like, oh, yeah, dude, there we go. There's the confidence I need to keep going. Friday night, I got the U.S. basketball game on in the background. I may look back every once in a while. They're whooping Brazil last time I checked. Big night on Friday, dude. I opened for my buddy Michael Blaustein at a big-ass casino in Palm Springs. It's called Morongo Casino. And it was said to be a theater, and this will be the most people I've ever performed in front of. A sellout of the room will be 960 people. So basically 1,000 people. And this is the one kind of date I'm opening for him on the rest of his tour, just because I couldn't make any of the other dates. It was me and my friend Daniel Weingarten, another very funny comedian. Drove up to Palm Springs. Took us 4 hours to get there. Supposed to take 2. Took 4. Miserable. But we get there, and it's actually not in a theater. It's in like this giant event space. And I'll put up some pictures here so you guys can see. It's so funny because this whole narrative, I was like, oh, never done a theater. Gonna do my first theater. Did this place. Still wasn't a theater. It was like a giant corporate event. But it was such an amazing experience, man. It was, Michael's been doing theaters now, and I have not opened for him in any of the theater shows. So I've never seen it at this scale. And not only doing a show in a theater, but doing a show in a casino it's a way different thing. Dude, we had a police escort through the casino. Dude, when we were ready to go, Michael had a room there. They knocked on the door, and it was like 2 cops. And at first I was like, is this okay? Do I have anything bad? But they were there to just escort us through the back hallways of this casino. 1 cop in the front, 1 cop in the back, and 3 silly white boys in the middle. Well, Daniel's half Hispanic, but you get what I'm saying. It was such a different experience. Like, we just felt so important. We felt like politicians. And me and Daniel, one of us, we're both opening for him. One of us was going to go first. One was going to go second. Second's obviously the better spot. And so we always try to make a bet when we're in the situation of who goes first, because neither of us want to go first, obviously, because that first couple minutes is so weird because you're just going out and being like, hey, we're doing comedy now. The bet, we did like a number bet. We were like, okay, pick a number between 1 and 100. And then we asked Michael to pick a number, and whoever's closer wins the bet. Did I lose the bet? Goddamn right I did. Daniel outsmarts me at every point. I always lose the bets. One time we did a bet jokingly. I don't know if we ever made the bet, but we had an idea of like, he had to pee really bad on the way to the Irvine Improv, and we were going to be like over under the amount of time it takes for him to pee. And we didn't make the bet, but afterwards we were like, we made a non-wager bet. We were like, okay, I bet it's over a minute and a half. He says under, whatever the fuck. And he went to the bathroom and like pushed his pee out as hard as he can so he could win the bet. Like, this motherfucker will outsmart me at every end. And sure enough, he did. And I had to go first, which I didn't care about. I was like, whatever, it's not my show. It's like, I know I'll do well. It's fine. And it's crazy being backstage at that big of a room, because it's like, dude, you're backstage. There's like a staircase up. I mean, it's basically a theater. It's like 1,000 people out there. The bass from the music is like, you feel like you're like a rapper about to go on stage. It's a way different thing. There's a guy with a headset next to you. It's just a way different situation. And I wasn't nervous, but I was definitely a little like, all right, man, how is this going to feel? Because I've never been on stage in front of that many people. I think the most people I've done is probably about 600 people at Stand Up Live in Phoenix with Michael. So I was like, I don't know how this is going to feel. And they call my name. I go on stage, and man, like from jump, it's comfy. There was no part of me that felt weird or uncomfortable or unsure how to handle it. It was just another set, but with way more people. And I was so comfortable. I was walking around. I was touching people. I was going there, boom, boom, here, go up, go back. I would use the space. I could tell, hearing my voice, how to time everything, how to pace everything, and I went and had a great set. There was not one part of me that was like, shouldn't have done that. I was like, that was kind of perfect for what I needed to do. Very happy with how I did. I think the crowd really liked me. And it was so fun hearing those jokes in front of that many people. Because I didn't fuck around. I did mostly the hits, right? And hearing those jokes and with that type of laugh, with a like that laugh, it was fun, man. I mean, I did those same jokes with 20 people at the Improv, and then the next night I'm in front of 1,000 people at a casino. What a life. I was very proud of the riff I started with, because the casino is in Palm Springs, which is basically, for those who don't know, it's kind of just like the desert, basically. It's the desert, and they like built a town in the desert, and Morongo Casino is even more off the beaten path. So it's really just in the middle of nowhere. So I got on stage. I was basically like, hey, normally when you go to a city, you're like, what's up, Cleveland? But here it's like, what's up, the desert? Or something like that. What's up, middle of nowhere? And that got everybody to laugh. And I was in. From like the first minute, I was in. And so that made me feel really good. I almost forgot to talk about this. Something so funny happened in the show. Dude, they had screens to the side of the stage. Like a camera guy for people who are too far in the back and can't see. I've never done a show that has screens. It was sick. I didn't even know there were screens. I got on stage and I saw, and I was like, oh, that's me. What the heck? Like, was not cool about it. It was like, oh, wow. How do I look? Do I look okay? Like, not cool. But it was so cool to see yourself on the screens. And the funniest thing happened during the set. I don't want to give away the joke, but for those who've seen the act at this point, I do a joke about a part of my body in my lower half. You get what I'm saying. I don't want to give away the joke, but if you've seen me, you know what I'm talking about. It's not my penis. It's a part of my body. And when I did the joke, the cameraman panned down to what I'm talking about and zoomed in, and it crushed so hard. I thought my fly was down because I didn't know what was happening. The crowd just all of a sudden burst into laughter, and I was like, what just happened? And I look at the screens, and I was like, oh, no. So I was doing like a bit with the camera guy. I was like, no, go up. Stop doing that. What are you doing, man? It was really fun, man. Like, it just felt like I was doing a set at like the Ha-Ha. It was really fun, man. Just felt so comfortable, and was just proud of how I did. I adapted, I performed well, and it was a really cool experience. So shout out to Michael for bringing us along. I wish I could do more shows with him, man, because doing these theater shows it's really cool. But I have a career. Oh, shoot. I have a career. Michael said, he's like, bro, it's so stupid you have a career. You could be my head writer. We could do a whole thing. And I'm like, shucks. Stupid career. Speaking of career, dude, all my new tour dates are up. I'm so excited about it. It's taken months to put this together, but we finally, I say we because I felt like it's like me and my agent and my agent's assistant. It's like I've had a lot of help with this stuff, so I don't want to, I'm not out here being like, I did everything myself, which I kind of did, but I've had a lot of help along the way. So what I want to do for the next kind of 10 minutes so is I really want to break down all of the new dates, and again, kind of like the why and the where and the how. Again, if you're a big comedy fan, I think you'll enjoy this part. If you're a casual, maybe you'll like this. Who's to say? First new date, I'm going to go by all the new ones. New York City, September 26th. That'll be at Gotham Comedy Club. And that's one of the clubs that's like a dream come true to play. I've known about Gotham Comedy Club for my whole life. I've known about it. That's like an iconic club in New York. I've been there before to open for Brent Morin, and that was where I told this story a long time ago. I think it was on the first episode about how that big agent from William Morris, who's my agency now, came and watched me. He was like one of the biggest agents in comedy, and he watched me there and gave me advice after. It was a really big moment in my life, and so that club is very special to me. And so we had the choice of doing Gotham on a Thursday or this place, City Winery, which is a kind of a chain of clubs that are now all over the country and are really great shows, on a Friday in November. And those are my two options. And it was a really tough call. The deal at City Winery, I think I would have made more money, but the show wouldn't have been as good. The ceilings were too high. It's a really big space. It really would have been choosing the money over the experience. And I decided to go with Gotham on a Thursday. It's not a weekend, but But I think Thursday in New York, I think, is a pretty hot and happening day. So I kind of opted for the better show over the money. And this is just me keeping it super real with you guys. I don't like to talk about money, but it's an idea I've talked about before on the podcast of choosing comfort over money. Like, spend a couple $100 to get an upgraded seat on a flight over the money. It's like those are the choices I want to start making. And playing Gotham is a dream come true. And that room bangs, dude. I'm really excited for that show. Really excited. Very meaningful. And then the next night, I go to Stamford, Connecticut at New York Comedy Club. And last year, right before Boston, I did Hartford, Connecticut at the Funny Bone. Didn't sell a ton of tickets, but had a really good time. But I knew there was this other club in Connecticut that I've heard of rips. It's the 240-seat club. It's basically a New York comedy club owned, and they opened a new one in Connecticut. And I've heard it rocks, and I've always wanted to play it. And I got an offer for a Friday night early show. Like, fantastic. And so it lined up where Gotham's on a Thursday, and we take the train to Connecticut and do Stamford on Friday. So excited. And dude, this chunk of the tour gets crazy. So the next week, I have Atlanta, October 3rd, at City Winery. And got this offer a while ago, but was unsure if I want to take it because I wanted to have something else with it. Again, if I go to the East Coast, I would like to have at least 2 shows because I don't want to go all the way there for one show. It's a long way to go. I did it last year for Orlando. I'll do it if I have to, but I try not to do it. And my agent typically doesn't do that. Doesn't send me just like a one city offer. But that's what this ended up being. She couldn't really find anything else to go with it, whether it be comedy club schedules, cities that I don't want to go too soon back to them, cities maybe I didn't do well in. It just, for whatever reason, didn't line up. So right now, I'm just going to Atlanta for one show on a Thursday and then going back home, which I'll do because I think I'm excited to do it, and I'm excited to see the City Winery there. I think it's going to be a really good show. So Thursday, October 3rd, Atlanta. Then the next week, I'm talking 3 weeks in a row now. October 9th, I go to Richmond, Virginia at the Funny Bone, and then October 10th, Virginia Beach Funny Bone. 2 places I've never been before. This got scheduled almost first in the tour. Not a market I requested. This was not on my list. I don't know what type of fans I have there. So it's always a little weird when I get sent a city that I don't know how I'm going to perform in. It's kind of like my perspective is almost like, I'll go, but I don't know how it's going to go. And I almost like want to be like, don't blame me if I don't sell that many tickets because I didn't say I wanted to go here. I've heard Virginia Beach is fire. And I'm really specifically excited about that. Richmond, I'm not so sure about. We'll see. But I'm excited to go regardless. But it's just, again, one of those places where I'm like, I love going to Funny Bones. Those are great clubs. Just kind of like, how am I going to do? I don't know. Then I have a week off, and then I do Pittsburgh Improv October 23rd. And I did the Pittsburgh Improv last October 9th of last year. So this will be a little over a year, which is what I like to do. I remember last year I sold 140 tickets on a Wednesday, which is really good. And so I think going back there was like no problem. I think the club was like, for sure. And my agent was like, let's send him back. And I'm down. Because the city we really wanted to go to, because I've never been before, is Buffalo, which I'm going to the next night, October 24th at Helium. That's a market I've never done before. Got a lot of requests for kind of the upper New York area, like Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester. This will kind of be that show to push all those people towards. It's a Helium. I've always wanted to go here. Well, let me be specific. It's not like Buffalo is a place I've wanted to visit necessarily. It's more just a market that I've never visited before. Kind of like San Antonio, I'd never been there before. And that's a place where never been, should go. And so we lined up Pittsburgh to go with it. So I don't go to the East Coast just for one show. Then I have a couple weeks off, and this is where it gets really kind of interesting, where this is where kind of the scheduling comes into play, where the next week after Buffalo and Pittsburgh is the week of Halloween, and Halloween's on a Thursday. And for the rest of the year, my shows are typically on Wednesday, Thursdays, or Sundays. And so with Halloween smack dab on a Thursday, I don't want to do a show on Halloween, and I don't know if I want to go somewhere where I'm just there for one Wednesday or something like that. So we kind of just made the whole week like a wash. So I'm like, I'm just not going to do anything that week, which is fine because I'll have gone really hard before then. And then the November 4th through the 9th that week. So Election Day is on November 5th. And 2 things. Number 1, I don't know how things are going to be with the election. I've talked to my parents about it. I've talked to people who know a little bit more than me about politics. I just don't know necessarily, not just what the state of the country is going to be, but like, I don't know how people are going to feel with the election. Like if I do a show the week of the election or a day after, 2 days after, what if people are just glued to their TVs? What if they're nervous to go outside? What if there are protests? I don't know how things are going to be. So I don't really want to necessarily go do shows on the road. Like I was offered like a Friday or a Saturday shows of that week, and I was like, I don't think I want to go. Because I don't, in the back of my head, I'm like, are people even going to come out to the shows? I don't know. So again, I chose that. I blacked out that whole week. I said, don't send me anywhere. And instead, Kaylee and I are going to Cabo. I'm going on my first vacation in, over 5 years probably. It's probably been 6-7 years since I've taken a vacation, an actual vacation. And so that was a perfect time to do it. Had the week off, had worked really hard from September through October. And so election day, we're voting and then leaving the country. Bye-bye. Hope Trump doesn't win. Week after that, I'm back to work. I go to Cleveland at Hilarities Friday, November 15th. So for this one, my agent sent me basically, it's a club I did last year, one of the best clubs in the country. Love Hilarities. I was offered about 4 or 5 dates to pick from, which is always really nice when I get to do that. It was mostly, I think it was Wednesdays or Sundays, and there was this Friday late option. Because normally on a weekend show, you're kind of doing the whole weekend. You're doing 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, or what have you. And this one was just a Friday late. And I was like, yo, that's kind of sick. Let's do that. And if my memory serves me, I think, who's doing the early shows? I think Billy Gardell is doing the early shows. The guy from Mike and Molly, a very recognizable sitcom star who I've gotten to know a little bit because he's been performing at Flappers, and he's like the coolest guy. Let me see. He is, dude. Yeah, he's doing the 7 o'clock show, and then I'm doing 9:30. That's awesome. So again, I was offered the Friday early. Friday late. I was like, yeah, that sounds sick. Let's do it. Late shows are sometimes more fun than early shows. And then I have a day off on that Saturday the 16th. And then I do Philly November 17th. And that was another situation where, Philly's a huge market for me. I have a ton of fans there. It was like, do I want to do, it was like a city winery type of place. It was an independent room that typically does music, and the deal was better. Or do I do Helium on a Sunday? And Helium's like the club. That's the best club. Similar to how it is in Portland, where I did this place called Curious Comedy Theater, and then Helium's the other option. And the other place I went to, Curious Comedy, the shows weren't as good for me. So I think if had I done Helium, had I done Helium, probably would have been better shows. So again, this is another example of me choosing a better room over money. I'd rather have a better experience. Especially, I've heard Helium Philadelphia absolutely rips, and I think it was the right call. And so I have this fun little schedule where it's like Friday in Cleveland, and then Nolan's going to be with me. We have a day off on Saturday. And best case scenario, I would love to go to get to Philly and go to like a 76ers game, right? Go to some sort of game, like a day off. That sounds so fun to me. So excited about that trip. And then after that, then it starts to get tricky with these fall and winter months, because then there's a week, November 20th, that whole week. I have nothing then. I would like to have something, but I don't. Then it's Thanksgiving. And so that whole week's a wash. So we're losing weeks. So there's almost like so many weeks to pick from when it comes to planning a tour, right? The Halloween stuff, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. A lot of these dates are out of the way, or not even an option. So basically I have to work my ass off for like the fall, because we're losing options when it comes to the winter. Make sense? So after Thanksgiving, I got the Denver Comedy Works offer for December 4th. Again, I talked about this last episode a little bit, but that's a dream come true. That is known to be the best club in the country, and I've performed there before, and it's no joke. It is electric. It is fantastic. What an honor it is to headline there. I've been wanting to do it since like early this year. I was like, I'm ready. Anytime after February, let's go, because it's been that long since I've been there. And we've just been waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally the offer came in. My agent literally said, it finally came in. And that club every single comedian in the world is trying to get spots at that club. Everybody. And so the fact that I got one is amazing. And it's on a Wednesday. Part of me thought, let's push for Sunday. But again, with football coming up too, and this debate I was talking about last episode of having, is it better to have a show on a Wednesday or Thursday or a Sunday? Again, with football being back now, dude, I'm saying Wednesday, Thursday all day. So Wednesday in Denver, done. And then the next night, I'm going to be in Stand Up Live at Phoenix, December 5th. Backstory for this one is, so I did the Tempe Improv last year. That club seats 400 people. I sold, I think, 150 tickets. It was a great show. I got the offer for Stand Up Live, which seats 550. And so I was like, right, but I didn't sell out the Tempe Improv. Why are they moving me to a bigger venue? I love Stand Up Live, and I was like excited and honored for the opportunity on a Thursday. But I was like, why? And sure enough, my agent said it's because, and again, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I will always keep it real with you guys. I opened for Michael there back in February, and they're going to essentially market to the fans that came to that show to come to my show. So they have all their emails probably, and they were like, hey, remember when you saw Michael? Here's the guy who opened. So curious how that's going to go, but that's a little inside comedy for you guys. So I thought that was interesting. Going to see how it goes. Love Phoenix. Can't wait. And then December 18th, Zany's Nashville. Not much to say about this one. It was we've been trying to get it on the books, and we finally did. There's very few options. That's a very hard club to get in at. A lot of Wednesdays, a lot of Sundays, a lot of Tuesdays. But I found a Wednesday the week before Christmas. Hopefully people are still going to be around for it. Honored and excited to be there, but that's another one where it's only that show, so I'm really hoping to be able to add something around it so I don't just go all the way to Tennessee for one show. But if I have to, Zany's is one I'm going to do it for. Last one scheduled, so then we have Christmas, and then the New Year's, the whole 2 weeks, that's a wash. And then Minneapolis, January 11th. Wasn't going to necessarily announce this one on this part of the tour, but I said, you know what, why not? Let's just do it anyways. It was hard to figure out where to play. The comedy club there, Acme is the comedy club, and that's essentially, I think it's, for whatever reason, it's really hard to get spots there. And we had a couple of different indie venues to pick from. And this seemed like the best one for me. There was one with fixed seating, meaning like it's a room that seats like 400 or something like that, 300, but then these are like theater seats. So, if you sell half the room, it's like really noticeable. And so I didn't want to do that. And I think this is another opportunity where I think the deal was better at the other place, but I picked the better venue, and I picked the one that I'm going to make a little less money at for a better show and on a Saturday night. So it's a place called Cedar Cultural Center. Apparently it's a very legit place, and it's going to be sick, I think. And it's on a Saturday night, January 11th. It's going to be chilly. Can't wait. That's a big one, man. My sister lives in Minneapolis with my two nephews, and that's a special show to me. So can't wait for Minneapolis. And there's going to be more dates that are going to be added too. And two interesting things I was going to note. Dude, I got an offer for the Milwaukee Improv on Friday, October 18th, which would have meant I would have been, if I accepted that, I would have done the road 5 weeks in a row. And that was another one where it was a Friday late offer. And it took everything in me not to say yes. I wanted to so bad because that would be so fun to do a Friday late show at such a great club. But I was like, dude, I can't be gone 5 weeks in a row. That's insane. I have to find some balance where I'm a person, where I'm not leaving Kaylee every fucking week, having her take care of the dog every single minute. It's like, it just wasn't fair. If I was single, maybe I would have taken it because I don't have as much responsibilities. I can be kind of a nomad, but it's like, dude, I need to be a person. So I turned it down. Not happy that I turned it down, but I think it was the right decision. 5 weeks in a row is crazy. I'm doing 3 in a row, and that's a lot. 5 would have been nuts. And I feel like there's one more. Oh, Vancouver we couldn't get, man. So Vancouver, it's the same thing where there's 2 options. There's one big theater, fixed seating. Would be sad if I sold half the tickets. That I have. But we were waiting for another venue to come in, which I want to do, and the offer never came in. So Vancouver is still pending, and a lot of people are pissed about that. But it'll happen. That's the tour breakdown. Everything is on sale except Minneapolis. That one should be on sale, I think, at the end of the week. But either way, everything's up. Go get tickets. They're all in my bio. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour breakdown. I find this stuff interesting. As a comedy fan, I would as well. And I'm going to be adding more dates. I think I should announce a new string of dates, probably in like October for the rest of November, December, January, February. We'll see what happens, but I'm always going to be adding dates, and bro, we still are just kind of keeping this thing going right now, man. And again, please come see me in DC. Please come see me in Chicago, San Diego, and then Sunnyvale, which is basically San Jose, September 12th to the 15th. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I didn't have a lot to bring to the table, but if I'm doing this every week, it's going to happen sometimes. I still appreciate you guys listening and tuning in. I will be back next week for a recap of the DC shows. sure I'll have lots of stories to tell. Have a good rest of the week. Stay cool. I'm not gonna, but I hope you do. Have a great rest of the week. I'll talk to you later.